Hello friends, welcome to the channel, Bob here, and welcome back to TAKP, or the Project Alcabor server. This is my warder, and I kind of squealed like a little schoolgirl person when I summoned my first one. I had no idea it was going to be a bear, and then I watched one of AC's streams, and it seems that depending what race you are for a Beastlord, you get a different animal, which is like obviously the reason to create a Beastlord of every race, because yeah, why not? But yeah, it's this video is I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to try and keep this one reasonably what should we say, kind of coherent in some form. Can't see your target. I'm a great big tall. Hello. I'm a great big tall dude. Yeah, I'm going to try and keep this one coherent. Although it probably won't work out that way. But this is going to be just like a new player experience of playing on the Alcabor server. And I've got some notes as well, which you'll be pleased or not to hear. But I'm sure it'll just still be rambling nonsense. So don't worry about it if that's what you like. First of all, I think the one thing to point out, I think, is the community. I think that's first. That should be first on the list. It's just an amazing community, you know. And I'm not saying that it's any better or worse or whatever than. I'm getting attacked by stuff I can't even see. Yeah, I'm not saying it's any better or worse or whatever than P99. But the community's been amazing. A particular shout out to Bristle and Bispin. I think, you know, they've been super helpful along with a few other people, and yeah, it's weird. It's kind of like it feels quite cozy, like family orientated. You know, when you talk about guilds advertised being, you know, casual, friendly, family, like a family type guild type thing. But the problem is there's so many people in the guild that invariably it doesn't really feel like that, you know, and that's fine. It's just difficult to maintain that. I think that feeling, particularly when the guild gets to a certain amount, you know, there's no way of keeping that. But this server really feels like that, just server-wide, not just within guilds. You know, it's really weird. One of the things about the community and the social aspect of the game is that I kind of thought that boxing, which we'll get onto, the elephant in the room. The elephant in Kern's castle. We'll get onto that shortly. But I kind of thought boxing would damage it, but really it hasn't. You know, and I think the reason for both of those things probably is that it's a smaller community. You know, and I think if you come to the server and you're a bit of a dick, you're probably not going to last long. You know, because the community is so small, you can't really hide. So if you're the sort of person for conflict, you know, and you're going to come in and you're going to cause problems and all that kind of stuff, then you're not going to last very long, just probably down to the fact that it's difficult to hide unless you start a new character, you know. And even then, like the information, the TAKP information on your characters is quite public. I think people, I'm not 100% sure about this, I may be wrong, but I think people can go onto your kind of forum account and see what characters you're playing, etc. I think it might even be able to see what equipment you've got. So it's difficult to hide. So maybe people have come here and who just generally dicks. You know, you've met them on P99 or some other MMO. But I think it's difficult to be like that when the population of the server is so small, because I just feel that you've got less options. You know, like what do you do once you've peed someone off? Where do you go? You know, oops, I think we'll be all right. I do want to point out that this is not feasible at the moment because I'm boxing. You know, someone's buffed me recently with some super buffs. Yeah, but I think when you've got a small community that's tight knit, people kind of knows everyone. I want to say it's very welcoming. It's not. I haven't found it cliquey at all. You know, like my experience, not just on P99, but on you know, other games in guilds, is that you join a guild and within the guild, you've got lots of different cliques. You know, like you'll get people will only kind of group with other people within the guild, certain people within the guild, not everyone. And that's fair enough, you know, because maybe they've just got to know those people and how they play, and that's fine. But here, it doesn't feel like that. You know, it feels like it's weird. I'm trying not to use any, you know, I'm trying not to approach it my feelings with too much sentimentality, but it just genuinely feels like a. Did we level yet? No, nearly. It genuinely feels like one big guild, even though there are guilds in the game, and that's really, really nice. And the community is just super helpful. Like even outside of, I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, I mean even outside of the guild, you know, people are helping other people, and I think one of the good things, I think one of the reasons for that is that you've got a situation where if you want stuff done, you kind of need to get on. You know, you need to get on with people, and people are willing to help. Like there's like a general chat that everyone can talk in, and I've seen people asking for help, and people from anywhere will just come along and help you. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen on other servers or in other games, but I've just found that probably because there are less people, and so it's harder to get things done. You know, you kind of want to be, oh hello, yeah, you kind of want to be sociable, but you also want to be, someone who is just, as I said before, is not going to be a dick, you know. And so I think that's kind of why, I think it's why it works out. You know, I think the community is great, and it's a small community, but it works, and I think it's probably less prone to trolls. That's kind of how I see it. Going on to kind of go like more gameplay things like I've experienced. Some stuff's really different. Like I purposely went around looking at some zones. I went around to all the newbie zones, and I'm not sure if it's just an El Gabor thing or if it was something that changed with Luklin. But yeah, really different. Level 17. Yeah, but really different. Like the Kenos newbie zone, for example, is completely different. It's got some similar mobs. Oh, hello, there was a disappearing mob there. Got to be careful of that. Kearns is as crap as ever for pathing sometimes. There's a mini me thingy there as well. Watch out for that. Oh, for God's sake. So where is that mob? There it is. Yeah, so yes, zones are different. Not different in the sense that they're laid out differently, that I've seen so far, but different in a sense that they're, like in the Kenos newbie zone, for example, all of the mobs are just different. There's like tons of bats. There's two different types of bat, and it's swarmed with them. Just different, two different types at different levels. You've got some Clicknicks, you've got some beetles, but you've also got like these high level beetles that were read to me, these Clicknick warriors. So I kind of poured one and it one-shot my pet. I was like, what? What's going on there? And I kind of worked out that, that they were completely different mobs. And that's quite similar in a lot of zones. I found, as you saw in the first video, I found the same in, I found exactly the same thing in Everfrost Peaks as well. So you'll find that quite a bit. And there are some other quite different gameplay issues as well. So I'm not sure if it's a bug or if it's... I know they're going for accuracy for Al Gabor, but aggro is quite weird. Like sometimes, like even like undead, you have to kind of actually go and bump into them before they'll aggro you, which I find which I've just found a bit strange. But if that's accurate, that's accurate. You know, that's kind of what they're going for. So little things like that. Things like some things are kind of like more hardcore. Like so, some skills really increase slow, like much slower than on P99. I know I'm comparing to P99, but it's my only reference. I haven't played live, and I can't say that I remember what live was like, particularly back in 1999. So that's a point of reference. Yeah, really, some of it feels a bit more hardcore. What is that mob over there? An odd mole regards me indifferently. Okay, well he's indifferent, so I'll just leave him. I think probably no need to go get myself in trouble. Let's go and see if we can pull something from somewhere. Oh, here we go. Great, that'll do. I think I probably need to move soon. Or maybe I need to go to the basement. I'm not sure if the Brunnais are higher level. I think they probably are, but maybe I'll go and check that out afterwards. Yeah, so there are lots of little lots of little changes that you'll definitely notice from P99. Yeah, but I'm kind of getting used to it. I think it's one of those things where it's kind of like Everquest Classic, but not. You know, it's really weird. There are things that I'm expecting to happen, you know, which are my own expectations because of, you know, from playing P99, and they're not happening. But that's fine. You know, it's yeah. So yeah, a lot of little gameplay things that are a little bit different, which you'll definitely notice if you come and give it a go. I think that room might pop soon, but we will see. My pet is just like super aggro, and he really walks back to his spot slowly as well. So I'm trying to keep him in his spot, because if he goes wandering off, sometimes he'll fall through the floor and pull stuff and whatnot. You know what Everquest is like. Yeah, so lots of little gameplay things. Some are a bit more hardcore, as I said. Skills take ages to go up. When you're scribing spells in your spell book, it takes ages. Like for a new level, you're sitting there 15 minutes later, you're still scribing spells. And I think that might be affected by level. So I think if you're a higher level and you pick some older spells, I think they do go in quicker. But yeah, it's not so bad kind of memming them, as we say in D&D. Yeah, but scribing them into your book takes a long time. So there are some things that are a bit more, I would kind of say, hardcore. You know. Oh, hello. There's a new dude. And that's all good. Yeah, so there are some gameplay differences. There are some zone changes from like a mob layout type thing. And these are all things that you'll very much notice. I think it's weird. I'm not quite sure what the thinking behind the newbie zones were, but a couple of the newbie zones that I went to felt quite a bit harder to a point where it was a bit annoying. So honestly, what I did was, and it seems to be the route that everyone takes. I know that it's quite a popular route on P99 as well, but like as a newbie, if I started a newbie character now, I would go straight to Field of Bone, and yeah, and then go into Cairns to get to level sort of 19, 18, 19 or whatever. And talking about going straight to Field of Bone, here we go. One of the first contentious issues, the books. Amazing for me. But I want to point out that it's amazing because it's... Oh, hello. Hello there. I want to point out that it's amazing because it... And same with boxing as well. It fits in with the server. You know, it's a small community in comparison to P99, and being able to get around and whatever quicker. I think because there's just less access to ports and stuff as well. I think is a thing, and I'm enjoying the books. And I think the books, to be honest, are kind of like aid exploration, because I've been going to places that I wouldn't normally go to, you know, and that can't really be a bad thing. I also think as well is that, like, if you're someone who is really, really vehemently against certain stuff, like the books, for example, I kind of wonder if you've got your characters bound at the pots on green. And I understand it's slightly different, because if you're a new character now going on to green, you can't bind at the pot. So it's kind of like an elitist kind of first come, first serve type thing. Yeah, and I know it's not exactly the same, but it is similar. So for me, like, the books are similar to my two characters on green that are bound at the pots. So I'm not overly fussed about that. And for me, it's kind of opened up the world a bit, if I'm perfectly honest. And yeah, and it's been a positive, you know, sorry, but it has. Yeah, I think that's probably covered that. As I said, I mean, I think that, you know, it's weird on this server as well, is that because you can box, you could get yourself a little pocket druid or wizard anyway. And actually, when you look at the access, the the books give you, you know, it's a bit more than the pots on P99, but not grossly so. So it would still be worth having or using a druid or a wizard for certain locations. Yeah, and I honestly, you know, hand on heart, I really don't have a problem with that at all. One other thing I should mention that people have kind of spoken about is the viewpoint, the camera. The camera is a bit of a nightmare. Now I've kind of come from the game after playing Gothic 1. I'm about to start Gothic 2, which I'll do a video on. And so, like, personally, to be honest with you, this is like driving a Porsche in comparison to playing Gothic, which is like probably like driving a tank. But I can understand why some people maybe don't like it. You know, I still think that even if you don't like it, you'll get used to it. I don't think it's a massive issue, honestly. I'm not sure what spawns next. It might be this dude, and we'll get him anyway. Yeah, I think even if you don't like it, it is workable, and you do get. The thing is, it's like anything really. It's like, you know, olives and coffee. You know, the more you have them, the more you get used to them, and you eventually end up loving them. And it's not as good. The mouse look is not as good, particularly when you're in third person. But I like being in first person anyway, so yeah, not too much of a problem. Yeah, so going back to kind of the gameplay side of things, that's a thing. We've covered the books. Plane of Knowledge. I think the Planes of Power is coming. It's only up to Velius with Plane of Knowledge at the moment, so you've got access to the pots. Oops, hello. Who we got here? Yeah, I've run around Plane of Knowledge. I quite like it. One of the things I didn't like about Luklin when it first came out was its general look overall, and I'm still not sure that I like it. And that includes like the art style and animations. I'm not quite sure what they did, but I wasn't a fan. Plane of Knowledge looks fine actually, and I like the environment, but I guess Plane of Knowledge would be Plane of Knowledge visuals. I'm not sure. I don't know how soon Planes of Power came after. But I have looked at a couple of the Luklin zones, and for the next video I will be visiting one to do a bit of levelling in that a friend pointed out to me. But I did look at some footage of my guild doing a raid. That's the other thing as well. Like, I know that I'm flipping around now, and you're probably losing your minds. Yeah, as soon as I joined the server, there were people going, need a weapon, want a hand, want to join a guild, you know. So I think also that smaller community means that people are kind of looking out for other newer players, you know, which again is a good thing. Welcome them in, they want them to stay, you know. That's all good. Okay, I think the Beastlord is getting to a point where the mobs are just greening out pretty much. Blue, maybe an even con. Yeah, sorry, I've sidetracked myself there, but you know the deal. That's how it goes. Yeah, I think that's why people are so welcoming, you know, because it's easy to spot new people, and you want new people to stick around. Why wouldn't you, right? Even if you can box. Yeah, so that's a really good thing. Another community plus, community plus point. I think I cleared this room next, didn't I? Yeah, I'm not quite sure what it is with a mouse look, but it's very sensitive, axes wise. Yeah, so you want to turn left or right, but you end up kind of looking up and down, which can be a bit frustrating. Maybe I need to jig around with the settings a bit more. What you do need to do, it was a nightmare at first, and I have to say, like, just a technical point I'm going to point out now. It was a nightmare originally, and then someone pointed out, I can't remember your name, so I do apologise, I can't credit you, but it was a great bit of advice. Someone pointed out that I should go into the ini file, and there are some options there. There's the Undead Crusader again. I think he dropped something that maybe I could pick up, and I just didn't pick it up just now. because there were a load of corpses on the floor that I couldn't be bothered to loot. Yeah, there's some settings in the ini file that you should change to match the hertz of your screen that you're using, so the frames per second. My two screens 120 hertz. I went and changed all. They said to change one setting, but I changed all of them to 120 hertz, and that cleared up a lot of the stuttering issues that I was having with. What does this guy drop? Oh, it's just some fine steel. I thought he dropped a magic weapon for some reason. Maybe it does at some point. Yeah, so change all those to match the hertz or the frames of your monitor, and that will solve a lot of the jerky problems with the mouse movement. That's what I found. So here we go. Let's talk about the big one, boxing. Boxing has been a revelation to me on this server. That's the key point that I want to make before people go, oh my god, boxing's evil, you know. And on P99, that may well be the case. But there's a couple of ways when I look at it. First of all, it's a community thing again. It's a small community, and there will just be things that wouldn't be possible on the server if you didn't allow boxing, because the community is small. So raiding and stuff, you probably wouldn't be able to do a lot of the stuff unless you could box. So I think from a population standpoint, it makes perfect sense, and I can understand why they've done it. And there are plus points about it as well. I think that I'm generalising, so not everyone, but I think some people do often get caught in a mindset where you join a community and suddenly that community's rules become like gospel, and it's blasphemy to then have a different thought that comes away from the hive mind. And I'm not saying everyone's like that, but I've witnessed it on P99, and I'm sure that you have. We've got a yellow, nice. And I don't think that, as I said, outside of someone like P99 that's got a big population, that's fine. But I don't, honestly, since I've been playing here, I don't feel that boxing is as big as an evil as you would have it. On P99, maybe it would have a big impact on the community. Maybe guilds would 2-box or 3-box or whatever it may be, and they just wouldn't be less people. They wouldn't want less people in their guild because they can do it amongst themselves, maybe get more loot. So I can understand from a social aspect how it might have a problem. There might be a problem, but I think on a server like this, actually, it enhances the community, because it means that the community can do more. I need to change my weapon over, maybe. It means the community can do more, and the community can do stuff that it couldn't do before. But also, here's the thing: like from a gameplay point of view, it's brilliant. As I said, maybe not on P99, but if someone, the thing is, I like single player role playing games as well, right? So if someone says to me, you like Dragon Age? I love Dragon Age. Okay, well, you love Everquest. I love Everquest. What about if you could play Everquest in your own little single party group? Now what? Yeah. Okay, how do I do that? That's boxing. That's basically what boxing is. So I can play through Everquest dungeons in my own group, with my own little group, and that is brilliant, because let's face it, a lot of single player. I find single player RPGs easy, too easy, just like insulting to my intelligence easy, even on the hardest settings. And so, yeah, what the Algabor server is, the Algabor project is letting me do is kind of play through Everquest and the difficulty of Everquest, but in my kind of own little Dragon Agey, Baldur's Gate-y kind of group, and that's great from a gameplay perspective. I'm not sure if you like role-playing games and you like Everquest. I don't know why you wouldn't want to give that a go. Obviously, like, I'm not saying on P99. I'm just saying, just like generally, even if Alcabor wasn't a thing and someone had kind of created a single-player version of Everquest, where you could have your own group. Why wouldn't you want to do that? Why wouldn't you want to play through, strategize, and you know, um, think about tactics and stuff of playing through Everquest as a single player game in your own little group, you know? And as I said, I understand when people talk about the community and stuff like that, and it's not for every server. But even so, and like I'm sitting here thinking, as I've been playing, I've been thinking to myself recently, like what little group makeups can I come up with, you know, to make maybe dungeons or encounters easier or maybe more fun. You know, would this composition, this little trio work, or would that little trio work? Yeah, and I'm quite excited about it actually. You know, it's and I was one of those people. I never thought I would say it, but boxing, in the right environment, and you know, and maybe if you kind of use it in the right way, I think it really works. You know, and and it has been a revelation to me. You know, I really am thinking about all these different things that I might be able to do. And I just want to point out that what I'm doing now is really not down to boxing. Like, my character's a low level. And if you look at my buff bar, you know, some buffs are falling now. But that's the reason why. That's the reason why I'm doing this at the moment. Like, once these buffs wear off, and if I can't get any more for a period of time, then yeah, everything's going to be much harder. Yeah, but for me, boxing's been a revelation from a point of view of the position that I'm in life at the moment and how I play MMOs. Although saying that, like, you know, it's like I can box, but I'm looking forward to getting up to a level where I can group and stuff as well, because like I'm in a guild where there's quite a lot of European players and they do stuff, they do a lot. You know, like yesterday and the day before, I was playing, and at the time when I was playing, you know, the guild were doing stuff and they were waiting for stuff to pop and all that kind of thing. Yeah, so while I understand that it wouldn't be right on every server, I'm finding the boxing experience really interesting, and I'm kind of trying to come up with all these little trios, how they will work. Things that I'm kind of thinking about, things I want to do on the Shaman and the Beastlord and the Enchanter, and like how will that work? If I leveled a Bard or a tank or whatever, you know, what effect would that have, etc, etc. And yeah, I know some people will be horrified by that. And as I said, it's not for every server, but I do feel that yeah, I do feel that it fits. It will fit in certain places, and it definitely fits here, purely because of the smaller population. I think the other thing I didn't realise as well is that listening to kind of guild chat and like the general chat, Luke Lynn added a lot of stuff to the game as well. Like, I keep hearing people talking about, like they keep putting, you know, people will put kind of items up. Oh, hello. Oh. Like, people will put items up that you've never seen before, and you look at it and you think, oh, that's amazing, that's fantastic, or you think, oh, that sounds great, so you click on it. People talking about questing, and people talking about trade skills in particular. Like, it seems as though I know with Velius, kind of trade skills become I wouldn't say improved, but they become like a bit more meaningful. I know that there was like an armor sets for everyone. I know that the Enchanter one particularly is really good. The ice something armor or whatever, and it seems as though they've continued that into Lukelin. You know, where there was another mob here that spawned, wasn't there? Is it there? It is, yeah. My pet's just staring at it. That's the weird thing about aggro. You know, you do get these kind of aggro radius is either lazy or very tiny. But yeah, but trade skills, quests, and all that sort of stuff. There's just so much content I've never seen before, and I think that's also a big plus as well for just from this server just going one expansion more. You know, they seem to have really fleshed out a lot of stuff. People talking about having to go to a zone to find a ground drop, or that I've never heard of before, or you know, some drop or something from somewhere for a quest or a turn in, or some crafting, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's all pretty. It's all really cool. and there's a load of new content that I've never come across before. I just did nothing in Luklin really. There's another level for my enchanter. Let's put him over here. Yeah, so I guess I'll probably sum up now. I think I've covered most of how I feel about stuff. I don't think I've missed anything out. I know boxing is a contentious issue, but I also feel that for me it's been a bit of a revelation, as I said as well. You know, why would you not want to play, at least try Everquest as like a single player Dragon Age type thing, even if you try it and you don't like it. You know, it's one of the most tactical RPGs I've ever played from a combat point of view. You know, why would you not want to try that at the very least? Yeah, on a server where it kind of fits. You can see me trying to turn left and right there. Like the view is all over the shop. I need to look at the sensitivity probably. Yeah, let's just move in here. I think there's a couple of spawns here next probably. So I'll sit down. Oh, here we go. I'll sit down to sum up, or I'll just stand here. So, yeah, if you've got any points that you want to know, you think I've missed, then let me know. I know that I said I was going to put like a link to the server forums, and I will do that. The thing with the forums to remember is that you need to create a forum account if you want to play, and then you also need to create a login account, and you can have a number of login accounts. So if you create an account on the forums, then on the forums there will be a button or a link that says create login account, and that allows you to create a number of different login accounts. For your, and then you can have up to 10 accounts, I think, probably. So if you kind of want a box, you can kind of spread some characters around those accounts and whatnot. The other thing, just to go back, just a point I want to make about boxing as well, is that you can still play the game how you want to play it. So you can play on TAKP if you want to look at some Luklin and play the knowledge stuff, and you can just play one character. Again, from a community point of view, I think because you've got AAs as well, and I've never played with AAs before, so I'm looking forward to that, to trying that out as well. That's something else that I've never tried that I'm looking forward to trying out. Yeah, and every now and again someone will say, come to, I call it Dark Bank in the Plane of Knowledge. They're going to do some mega buffs. So anyone with, I think they're AA buffs, but anyone within an area just gets buffed with these mega buffs that I've still got some of here. Yeah, so that's a good thing as well. That's a good community thing, and people are really hot on it. You know, there are certain people who will do the buffs certain times every day. So that's another cool thing. I just want to talk about my warder as well. Like, he's got this, I think I need to put it on him actually again. He's got these proc buffs called Spirit Ofs. I've got the Spirit of Lightning, which is the first one. And it just imbues, I think it raises his deck and it gives him a proc basically, which is really cool. And Warder's is brilliant as well. Like, this content at my level at the moment, you just choose through it. His proc does tons of damage. I'm not sure how the Warders stack up later on. I know that I've kind of seen a couple of people say since I started playing that there's kind of an era or a period where Beastlords are like really OP. I'm not sure if that's where we are at the moment. It might seem weird that I'm playing a Beastlord with a Shaman, but Beastlords don't get all of the Shaman spells, and also the Shamans get the spells a lot earlier. Yeah, and as soon as someone said you can box, give it a go, I thought Dream Team, you know, Ogre Shaman, Ogre Beastlord, boom. That was it. I was away. So yeah, that was the moment I became a dirty boxer. Yeah, but to sum up, the Alcabor project has been the most fun I've had in EverQuest for quite some time. I think the last time was probably when I started Green, but I think I was kind of a bit burnt out, to be honest, with P99 at the time. Yeah, and so, oh, here we go. I think Scale Bones are pretty high. I think one of the highest level mobs. Let's put him up here. Yeah, I think I was kind of a bit burnt out on P99 and was looking for a different experience. And yeah, and this is the most fun I've had on EverQuest for a fair period of time, and it's weird. I think it's because it's kind of like it's the same but different. If that makes sense. The combat's the same. It feels like classic EverQuest to me anyway. Leveling has been pretty swift at the moment because of these big like group buffs that people will get you. Let's just pull these dudes. Can I pull this one through this one? Let's see how lazy the aggro is. Yeah, so I don't think the greater is green to me, but it didn't. Oh, it did. I pulled all of them. Okay, nice. They all came. That's what I wanted. Yeah, like leveling might seem like this content's fairly trivial, but it's because of the buff. So as I was saying, you can play as you want. You haven't got a box, but you can see some new content, do some new trade skills, do some new quests. You haven't got to get the buffs. It's optional. You know, if someone tells you and says, look, do you want a weapon? I can help you out. You haven't got to do it, you know. So you can still play how you want to play. You can still play as a single player thing. And my experience looking at guild chat and looking at general chat is that you'll get people come up in general chat and say, like, you know, anyone looking for a group, you get LFGs and that kind of thing. So there is still a social aspect to the server, even with boxing. Yeah, and as I said, like, just summing up, it's the most fun I've had on EverQuest for quite some time. And also what it's done is I'm kind of looking forward to going back to P99 as well, because it's given me what is on here has given me yeah, like it's given me back or increased my admiration and desire to play a different type of EverQuest on P99 as well. So that's also been a plus point. I know on the books and on the boxing, I just, you know, some people won't be convinced, and I'm not trying to convince people, you know, I'm just trying to say that on this particular server, boxing works, and it's also interesting to try out just purely from a point of view of, yeah, just like playing EverQuest as a single player Dragon Age style RPG. But yeah, just to repeat myself for about the 5th time, I'm having a great time, and I think it's a big part that is to do with the community. I think a big part is to do with the fact that I love the Beastlord class so far. It's something different. The boxing has helped. You know, the books help. Oh, hello. Where are we? The books have helped with that for good or for bad. Yeah, the boxing allowing me to try out different things, and I'm kind of strategizing and thinking about different trios and how they might work. The other thing as well that I'm trying to do personally I guess, you know, when you've got your own little trio, I guess it's difficult to justify that you're limiting yourself, but what I'm doing is my 2 characters that I'm boxing are characters that I've played to a high level before, you know, and the class I haven't played before is the one that I'm doing all the fighting on, essentially. And I'll probably try and stick with that through oh, here we go, through any other classes that I play as well. Like I know that I was kind of thinking about a little troll only group, Shadow Knight, Shaman, and something else, and I would kind of play the Shadow Knight, and the other classes would just be the whatevers, you know, the buffers or the whatever they are. Yeah, well, this video's been longer than I thought, but anyway, I've really enjoying my time on TAKP. It gives me an option to play EverQuest in a different way, and it's a way that I've discovered that I really liked. But equally, it's also given me a greater appreciation of P99 and what those guys are doing. The other thing as well is I can have P99 open at the same time, you know, so it's win-win really. Yeah, and then the other thing as well is that, like, Bristol was telling me that as a Christmas event, I can get myself a Guise of the Deceiver, like a proper one. Apparently there's like this quest and stuff you can go through that you can prepare for beforehand, and he said he's going to give me a hand to prepare for it. Yeah, I like the fact that it's a small server, but the developers will do a little Christmas event. And oh, hello. I think some of the buffs are wearing off, and I'm starting to take damage now. But I think we'll be all right. I'm not sure what sort of a tank my warder is, so I'm not really getting into that at the moment. yeah. But so that's another thing that I can at Christmas time I can prepare myself to get a Guise of a Deceiver on my Shaman. That'll be pretty awesome. What would some sort of like casting dark elf group be like? So you could have like Mage Necro Wizard or Mage Necro Enchanter or something. Just an all pet group. How great would that be? It's all those kind of things. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you want to play TAKP and you come on, give me a shout and I'll give you a hand, as people have given me a hand. If you've got any questions that you want to know, then yeah, fire them out as well. But anyway, as always, thanks for watching.